So today I want to talk about the relevance of the European elections and what you think about it. Before I do that, I'd just like to advertise that I've thought about it and I'm actually going to do it. I'll do a Facebook Live. I've never done this before, so there can be questions and discussions about the European Union and the policies associated with it. It will be sort of about trade, the news of the week, the European elections, and what's going to happen next. I'll be doing that for about an hour. I'll be doing it on Sunday at 5 p.m. Central European Time. I'll be putting all the specific info down below. If you're interested, you can just join me on Facebook. For those of you watching on other platforms, you can follow or add me on Facebook, and then hopefully we'll be having people joining in. Also, for those of you who've asked me about the artworks just behind me, I'm going to be putting a link down below about the name of the artist, and the name is Tanya Majerus. She lives in Los Angeles, and so for those of you interested in that art, because I've been getting questions about it, you can check her out. So today I would like to talk about the European elections because there's a lot of opinion editorials and commentaries out there right now about how relevant are the European elections really. If you ask the representation of the European Commission or the European Parliament in your country, it's super relevant. You really need to vote. This is the most decisive election in your lifetime. That's what they pretty much say every 5 years. And they want you to vote, unless you're Eurosceptic, in which case you definitely shouldn't vote. And there's a lot of columnists that contradict this by saying the European elections aren't actually that relevant. We're making a big hype about nothing. And basically it's the member states deciding anyway. And there's some truth in that, because the European Council is a very decisive body, and the European Commission is initiating the legislation, not the European Parliament. However, the big talk right now is about Eurosceptics and conservative right-wing leaning parties coming in, and the big talk seems to be that the fear seems to be that 1/3 of the European Parliament will be in those hands. We've already seen a possible alliance between the Polish Law and Justice Party and the Italian Lega. Remains to be seen if that's actually going to happen, who's going to join it. What the ENF, the Europe of Nation and Freedom, so that's the Le Pens, what they're going to do. Is it going to be split up? How well can they actually cooperate with each other, and how much cooperation is actually needed? And that's a big topic, because you have a difference between Eurosceptics and those who want to change Europe. And that's an interesting conversation, because what happened over the years is that we were always told Eurosceptics are dangerous because they want to leave the European Union. The narrative now has changed because the politicians have changed. And the politicians now, instead of leaving the European Union, given that with Brexit it seems a bit complicated, is that they want to change the European Union from within, which always was sort of the idea. We were always told, if you don't like the European Union, vote people in and then change it from the inside. That was always the argument. Go by the democratic way. Now that the democratic way seems to be that the polling indicates that parties are going to be in that could be disintegrating the European Union or changing the policies of the European Union entirely, now it's suddenly a big danger to democracy. Well, they're actually just following the democratic process that we were told we should follow in the first place. But what I find interesting is that from the perspective of the institutional perspective, which I think you should be also aware of, is the European Commission is voted on by the European Parliament. And the next European Commission president will have to do some significant compromises, and it will be a balancing act. I will also be putting a piece down below that I wrote for the Luxembourg Times, for those of you who are subscribed to that, in which I explained the uphill battle to Berlaymont being the place where the European Commission is located in Brussels, because he needs to satisfy Poland and Italy with the respective commissioners, not give them too much responsibility that some of the very pro-EU countries, such as let's say Belgium or France, would disagree with it, but at the same time they shouldn't be too insignificant that Italy and Poland would block the Commission. And also, depending on how the alliance is going to be in the European Parliament, if, for instance, the current coalition needs to take the Green Party into account, then that same Green Party will be very much disagreeing with a lot of establishment centre-right parties in that specific commission. So I think it will be very, very difficult to assemble a commission. I actually don't think that's a bad idea. I think there should be considerably more work on compromise, because that considerably slows down the policies of the European Union. And I think we've seen way too many directives coming in and being just rushed through. We've seen the copyright directive just gone through right now, where nobody really knows how to implement it. Now the companies have 2 years to implement it. They don't know how. So I think there's a lot to talk about. Hopefully we can talk about it some more on Sunday at 5 p.m. Central European Time. Please join me for that. And yeah, let me know if you think, is the European election really relevant? It's happening at the end of May. Are you voting? Are you not voting? Let me know down below. And thanks for watching.